Shalom, friends. What if I told you the difference between heaven and hell is not the place, but the choices we make and how we treat those around us? What if the tools for eternal joy and torment were the same, but how we use them is what makes the difference? Today, we will explore an ancient allegory that paints a vivid picture of selfishness and selflessness. Its lessons are as eternal as the heavens themselves. The allegory goes as follows. There was a man who asked God to reveal to him the difference between heaven and hell. In a vision, God took him through a door into a dark, desolate banquet hall. The air was heavy with despair. At the center of the room stood a large circular table. A giant pot of stew stood in the middle, more than enough to feed everyone there. Yet the people seated around the table were emaciated, their faces sunken with hunger. Each person held a long spoon. This spoon was so unwieldy that despite their best efforts, it was impossible to bring the food to their own mouths. In their frustration, they jabbed at each other, screamed in anger, and hoarded portions they could not eat. The room was filled with sounds of chaos and misery. God looked at the man and said, "This is hell." Then God took him through another door that looked exactly like the first, which led to another banquet hall. This one glowed with warmth and light. At the center was the same circular table, adorned with the same magnificent pot of stew, with the same number of people. Each person still held a long, unwieldy spoon, but here, laughter and joy filled the air. So what was the difference? The people here were feeding each other. Instead of trying to satisfy their own needs, they reached across the table to serve their neighbors. No one went hungry because everyone cared more about the needs of others than their own. As a result, they were able to have their cake and eat it too, so to speak. The man marveled. Heaven and hell had the same table, the same spoons, and the same feast. The difference was love. And yes, I know it wasn't cake, it was stew, but relax, it's just a turn of phrase, calm down. The allegory of the spoons has sparked profound interpretations in various forms of art, from sculpture to animated storytelling. Its themes of selfishness versus selflessness continue to resonate across cultures and mediums. One notable concept inspired by the allegory is the depiction of the long chopsticks in heaven and hell. This modern variation takes the essence of the long spoons and applies it to a different cultural context, illustrating how the same fundamental principle, helping one another, can transcend specifics and remain universally applicable. This allegory has also been beautifully captured in sculpture. Gina Parr's work, The Allegory of the Spoon, transforms the story into a three-dimensional experience, exploring the dynamics of human connection and disconnection. This piece offers a visual meditation on how acts of kindness and compassion bridge gaps that selfishness creates. In the realm of animation, Caritas International produced a moving video titled The Allegory of the Long Spoons. The video was created as part of their One Human Family, Food for All campaign, showcasing how cooperation and generosity can combat hunger and division. The simplicity of the animation conveys the parable's message with powerful emotional clarity, leaving a lasting impression on viewers. If you would like to watch the full video, I have provided the link in the description. Through these artistic expressions, the allegory of the long spoons and its variations like the long chopsticks remains a vivid reminder of the moral choice between selfishness and selflessness, urging us to choose love and cooperation in all our interactions. This story is more than a simple parable. Its heart lies in the two greatest commandments, to love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Rabbi Yeshua emphasized these commandments in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 22. He said, "On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets." We also see echoes of this allegory in the Tanakh. In Proverbs chapter 11, it is written, "The generous soul will be made rich, and he who waters will also be watered himself." The people in heaven exemplified this truth. They gave to others and received abundance in return. The allegory is often attributed to a rabbi who sought to teach the profound difference between selfishness and selflessness. While the exact origins of the story are debated, its message aligns with Jewish teachings on chesed, or loving kindness. The Talmud in Tractate Sotah emphasizes that acts of kindness sustain the world. Feeding one another with the long spoons is a perfect example of this principle in action. The allegory challenges us to ask, are we living as if we are in heaven or hell? In our families, workplaces, and communities, do we use the tools we have to serve ourselves, or do we extend our hands to help others? Imagine what could change if we chose to feed those around us, figuratively and literally. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, transform lives and ripple through generations. The allegory of the long spoons reminds us that heaven and hell are not just destinations, but reflections of the love we give and receive. It calls us to embrace the two greatest commandments, to love God and love our neighbors. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more biblical insights. God bless.